Hey, so I am already prepping for the dish so we don't spend all the time chopping up vegetables. So I got my red potatoes, I got red onions instead of just like regular onions. So you can do whatever type of onion tickles your fancy. I already had some red onion already used, so that's the left of it. You know, waste not, want not. And now, oops, I'm trying to share it now. Messing around, messing around. So, and then I have my sweet peppers. So these are just little mini peppers. Little mini peppers. So I just took one of each color, a red one, an orange one, and a yellow one. So we got a nice little colorful mix there. A regular green bell pepper, and I minced that up, and then I have some fresh thyme here. These come in these little packets, so you can usually find this in the produce section where like near the salad dressings and stuff like that. They tend to have them over there, and some of them have like a wide variety of the fresh herbs like rosemary, mint. I did pick up some mint because I haven't had any mint in a little bit, and I love putting that in my water with some lemon, especially in the morning, because it just makes me feel nice and refreshed and, you know, awake. And then, so I just pluck the leaves off the stem, and I'm just going to slice down whatever's left, and then this is what we're going to, part of what we're going to season our food with. So the onion, of course, is seasoning as well, but it's got its own little benefits. And then we got some fresh garlic here. So this is what's left of my bulk garlic. I froze it so it wouldn't go bad. I just minced it up and then stuck it in the freezer. So now I have minced garlic on hand, fresh and dandy, and I just threw some on the cutting board with the rest of my stuff. And I am also going to show you all how to make ginger ale. So this is my kombucha. They had a really large bottle, so this is a 48-ounce bottle. And so I just decided to keep that for my ginger ale because it has airtight cap, because you need an airtight container so that the carbonation can build up in it. And then let me see, I picked up some fresh spinach. I can always add some to it, but I probably might end up adding some of my spinach artichoke dip to this instead of just adding in spinach. And I got some cilantro here. Cilantro is super great for detoxing certain things. And so I got the cilantro here. This is also in the produce section. It has like a little spicy kind of flavor to it. So that's why I like adding this, especially to like breakfast stuff, because like for some reason cilantro and eggs are like the bombest combination. So we're just going to pluck a couple of leaves off of here. The stems to it don't matter because we're just going to end up chopping that anyway. It's all the same. So we got some cilantro there, and put this back in the bag. It's wet because they run the the little water thing on it to keep it fresh. And then we need our sausage. So I probably won't need 6 ounces because I'm not doing a big more than 2 of these. So the recipe makes 4 skillet pot pies. I only have 1 little skillet, so that's what we're going to use. And these are the Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets. These are in the freezer section where the desserts are. So like where the pies and pie crusts and stuff are, and the ice cream and all of that stuff is right over there. So make sure it says puff pastry so you can get that nice, you see even there, the nice puffy, fluffy, flaky. That's going to be good. So this it's already, I put it in the refrigerator and set it in the freezer so that it can start to thaw. And here, let me say ginger ale tutorial as well. Yes. So the ginger ale is so fast and easy. That's why I figured I could just show y'all all of that stuff all at once and keep it moving. So let me get my little skillet and pull this recipe back up so I can make sure I'm putting the stuff in it. So we're gonna slice these cilantro leaves down too with the thyme. But like cilantro is basically usually used as like a added seasoning, like a topper or topping. For the most part, I've never really seen people use cilantro outside of like pico de gallo and salsas. But cilantro is a really, really good herb for, like I said, for detoxing certain heavy metals out of your system. And it also helps with, I believe it's blood pressure regulation. Don't quote me on that. I might have to double check it. But it is definitely something you don't want to leave out of your diet or your menu for too many cycles because, like I said, it's bomb and it tastes really good. It has a really nice, I'm not sure if you've had cilantro before, but if you have it has a very refreshing kind of taste to it, and it puts me in the mind of rosemary actually, and but it's yeah, yeah, it's one of those type of seasonings. So we have, okay, I left out the chives because I don't really do chives, not so much, but you can definitely put chives with this. Um, they kind of have a similar flavor to the cilantro. So instead of chives, I opted for cilantro. And let me get my flour. I'm gonna put it in a small. Where's my measuring cup? I'll put it in a small measuring cup so that way I can pre-mix it with some water so it doesn't clump up. Oh, here I use some out of this little bag. So it says 3 tablespoons. I had a scooper somewhere. Okay, here we go. I keep I keep the scoop from all of my Herbalife stuff because they have tablespoon and teaspoon measurements. So, but they're calibrated to measure for the powder that they were using. So it's a big guesstimate on that. So like I said, I'm not doing the full recipe, so I only need probably like a tablespoon and a half. So I'm gonna just do 1 scoop there, and that should be enough. If not, we can always add more because this is really just to thicken the gravy. So you don't need much. You don't have to use standard all-purpose flour. You can definitely substitute a gluten-free option, or you can do like a wheat flour. They have like tapioca flour. Like there's so many options of flours now. Like when I go down the bakery aisle, I'm like, okay, I see them catching on. So there's a lot of stuff available if you don't want to do the standard all-purpose flour. It's perfectly fine. It's really just for the gravy. And then my milk. And with the milk, you can also substitute. It doesn't have to be cow milk. It could be whatever milk you normally drink. Like I said, it's for the gravy. So I prefer using whole cow milk because of what I'm used to. The taste, the texture, all of that stuff. It just mixes better for how I'm used to working it. And then let me get my baking sheet. And my parchment paper for the pastries, because we have to kind of par bake the pastry puff to get it ready. All right. Set that on the pan. All right, so let me move some of this stuff around. I had my latte. It's spice Thai tea with oat milk in it. So it's a latte. Spice Thai tea has a lot of caffeine in it. I think still slightly less than like an espresso or like coffee, but it still has enough caffeine to give you that the get up and go, that alert, you know, the same kind of effects that people drink coffee for. So my bad, guys. But it was delicious. And I picked me up some more matcha green tea for my latte. Okay. So I'm going to put my spinach back in the fridge. But I do have, this is what's left of the spinach artichoke dip that I made last weekend. So I just put it in this is an old feta cheese dish. But it's like, it's perfect. Like, it's the perfect, you know, little. And so I'm probably going to scoop some of that in this, okay? Because, you know, we just always whipping up something that's going to be tasty on here, okay? Excuse me. All right. Hey, y'all. All right, so we need to preheat our oven. I didn't want to have the oven on the whole time I was doing all of that because it would have been way too hot. Like, it's too hot, too hot, too hot. That was that's my jam. You better run for shelter, better run for shade. Yeah, I got older parents, so I know about all them jams. I couldn't fully appreciate them when I was younger because they used to turn my music off to listen to it, so I was like slightly upset, like, man, forget that. But now it's like, I get it. I get it now. The exposure was necessary and appreciated. So now we're going to start putting our stuff together. Here, let me put a pot of water on for this, for the ginger ale, so we can have that going. So once we put the stuff in the oven, it won't be an issue. So this is just 1 to 2 cups of water. It just depends on how much you want to start out with. But 1 or 2 cups of water is fine for when you're boiling the ginger for the ginger ale. I eyeballed it. This is like, okay, that's about 2 cups. And really the only reason why you have to boil this really is to dissolve the sugar in it. And you only need 1 cup of sugar. Sometimes I use brown sugar. If you want a sweeter ginger ale, you can use stevia or white sugar. Honey, I haven't done it with honey before, but it's the same amount, so it will be a cup of honey, 1 to 1. And yeah, you absolutely have to have sugar in it because that's what gets fermented and makes the carbonation for the ginger ale. Stop, Duda. She even popped up in here. It is nap time, Duda. You want to get in your bed? Is that what it is? You sleepy? All right. So now we're going to make our sausage gravy filling. I have my little cast iron skillet here. Before y'all here. So I have my iPad here so I can double check this recipe and make sure I ain't sending y'all off nowhere, okay? So we're gonna I have my little sausage patties. The store I went to, they actually didn't have any, like, no type of breakfast meat sausage like alternatives. Like, they only had pork sausage. So I'm using the pork sausage. But however, I know for a lot of people, health issue and all kinds of things. We're trying to get better with our spiritual alignment, and so we all moving away from the pork. So there, Jenny O tends to have pretty good non-pork meat and even vegetarian. Oh, thank you, Duda. Thank you. You put it in the dishwasher. You close it. Thank you. Good job. So Jenny O is a really good like meat alternative product. So if you don't want to use any type of meat, they have some that taste pretty good. And there's also like grass-fed sausages and things like that. Grass-fed meat, so like your cows and things or whatever. Grass-fed, those are better options because they tend to be taken care of better. Close the dishwasher, do the. Watch your face. Watch your face. Okay. Thank you, please. Thank you. And so we need to put just a little bit of olive in the skillet so we don't burn our skillet up. Because it's cast iron, but close it. Hold on, I'm gonna put her in the. All right, we're back. I had to change the diaper too. All right, so we're gonna crumble up our meat and fry it up. So the meat I got was maple syrup breakfast sausage because I like the way that flavor kind of goes. I'm gonna get us a spatula and just break it up. So this is why I got the sausage patties because it's flavored, but you can definitely get the sausage too. And the brand I mentioned before, the Jenny O, has, I believe, turkey sausage too. And it comes in those little tubes. It's like tubes of sausage, but they're usually not flavored. Like, it's usually like a standard regular flavor. That's why I usually get the ones that's in that little package like that, because you can get like maple or hickory or something like that. And so just that's it. Okay. And this is just cook it up. We don't, once we finish this, then we're going to melt our butter in there for our onions and potatoes. Because most of the cooking of like the other stuff that we're putting in it, like the peppers and the rest of how the potatoes are going to cook, is going to be and so once we get our, okay, the sausage is like it's about cooked now. So we can transfer this to a little bowl and we can do our potatoes. And we're going to melt our butter in the pan. I want to do 1 tablespoon because I'm not doing, like I said, I'm doing not the whole recipe, so I won't need all of what they So you just not gonna turn on? Okay. All right, there we go. And so I'm gonna do probably 2 squares of the puff pastry on this 1 skillet. But like they the way this recipe is set up for you to use the little small cast iron like single serve skillets that like I don't know, like how you would probably get at a restaurant or something like that. So that's what this recipe is for, a single serve skillet, but this is kind of like cooking skillet, but it's still slightly smaller than like a big, like I don't know, like 4 or 5 quart skillet. So now I'm gonna drop my onions in and let me get a spatula. Here we go. Heat that up. And my potatoes. And this is gonna get that cooking. So I did 2 small, like smallish, medium-sized red potatoes with the skin on. Just mix them up. With the potatoes, if you can eat them with the skin on, I definitely. Hey, Lasana. Okay, you said the little oath. Exactly. That's how the music just be popping up in my head. But yeah, if you can leave the skin on the potatoes, I definitely suggest doing that because there's a lot of nutrients in the skin, hence the different colors. And so this is going to cook in this skillet for about 8 minutes. I want the potatoes nice and soft and our onions caramelized. And the butter I use is unsalted butter. I definitely suggest using unsalted butter in this recipe because you don't want to run the sodium up too quick, because you can always add salt, but you can't take it out. And trust me, the salted butter has plenty of salt in it per tablespoon. All right, so this, and it's already smelling so good, and it's really just onions in here cooking. So I haven't added a thing to a thing. Let's see. Okay, and then at this point, if you want to season it with some salt and pepper, you can. I'm probably just gonna do like a quick little douse of some Mia's Oh So Good something on this. Oops, did I cut y'all off? Because her mixture is gonna be really good. Let me see, which one is this? This is her garlic peppercorn. So, yeah. And I don't think there's any salt in this one, in the garlic peppercorn one. So like I said, I usually avoid adding the salt while I'm cooking because it's hard to kind of taste it when it's not cooked. So I just rather add it later. Unless it's like on meat, I'll probably add the salt to some meat, but I usually don't salt anything like my vegetables and stuff like that because it's very easy to over salt them and they soak it up and all of that. So alright, so our potatoes and our onions are almost done, and then we're going to transfer this stuff to a bowl as well so we can get our peppers and our garlic in there. And I think we're going to add our thyme in with the peppers and things too. So, yeah, some salt and pepper, grab the sweet peppers, saute. Yeah, and then we stir in the herbs after we get our garlic and peppers sauteed up a little bit. And then that's where our sauce is going to come in. So we'll sprinkle our flour and milk mixture over that. So here I got my flour here, and I think I have, this is about a half a cup. I think I'm going to do a whole cup of milk just in case, because you can thicken it up a little bit more if you want, but I just want to have the milk ready. And let me get a little fork so I can whisk this together. So I'm going to move my sausage and bring this here so y'all can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see my measuring cup. So this is what we're going to add over the peppers. So once I get this mixed up, I'll take this stuff off the pan. It's smelling so good. Like, I'm ready to eat now. Alright, so this is enough right here for what I'm doing. Okay, and I'm going to add in another, we're going to do another tablespoon, another scoop of flour so we can get some more gravy. Because I like mine with gravy. Lots of gravy. Alright, so we'll go with that. Stir this. Make sure it's sticking. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness. And it's like perfectly brown potatoes and caramelized onions. Oh my. When I first saw this recipe, I was like, yeah, because I actually kind of did like a mixed version of it last week with the I had posted a pic of my little baked my little baked egg breakfast dish. I used the last pie crust from the quiche that I had made last month, so that's why it's not quite this recipe, but it's a similar concept, and I actually ended up doing more of a kind of cheese, I don't know, an egg cheese pizza kind of situation as opposed to a pot pie like this is going to be. So now that's stirred up. I needed another bowl to put this in, and then we're going to get our peppers in the pan. I'm going to turn this heat off. Move this about the way. So we can keep that. And so the best part about everything basically going in the same pan is you don't have to go and like wipe the whole pan out and do all that. Like, nope, it's all going down the same way. So we can. Okay, and then we're gonna melt a little bit more butter in there. Let me get that potato. We're gonna melt a little bit more butter in there and add our peppers. Oh, now, what did I do with the butter? Another thing off the butter, we're gonna turn the heat back on. And now, and another thing that I love about cast iron skillets is that once they're hot, you don't have to work at like really high heat, so you can actually turn the flame down, save you a little bit of gas. You can save yourself some gas, okay? And then we're gonna drop our peppers in. Peppers, four peppers, banana, sana, four peppers, mama, mappers, peppers, and garlic. Garlic, barbaric, banana, sana, four garlic, mama, marlet, garlic. Welcome to Octavia's brain. Let me add a little bit more garlic, because I love garlic. Like, you'd be hard pressed to not get me to like add garlic to something. Almost everything I cook has garlic in it. If it's a savory dish, if it's not like meant to be a dessert or something sweet, I can guarantee you with some garlic in it, if it ain't fresh garlic, it's gonna be some powdered garlic. I had to get some more powdered garlic today too, because I was making some air fried chicken. I was like, where's my ginger? We ain't had no powdered ginger, so I was my feelings was a little hurt. So I had to get some more powdered ginger, but I keep some fresh ginger, mostly because I make ginger ale with it, but also because fresh ginger is very easy to add to like drinks and stuff like that. So I'll shave some fresh ginger into like my water or tea or something like that. And it's just easier to use. Especially once you freeze it. You can freeze it and do whatever you want with it later. And so I keep me some frozen ginger on deck. Alright, so this is looking good. We're going to add in our cilantro and thyme. That was so pretty. We're going to keep some on the side because that's what we're going to garnish our stuff with. But we definitely getting all the thyme in there because we want the thyme to season that stuff. This smells delicious already. Okay. So make sure we got this stuff. So put the last of the milk in there. Stir it up. Wash it off all that. And then we're going to add this in for our gravy. Now for this, it says sprinkle the flour over this mixture and then like stir it in so it'll start thickening it up, and then you add the milk in after. But I just pre-mix mine because me and flour and sauces, we've never been on the same page, so I tend to end up with like terrible like flour clump situations and all kinds of that. So I just pre-mix mine. But you can definitely like sprinkle your flour over this and just stir it because like with the butter and stuff in there, the butter will help like kind of start to create the sauce. So now, take a wow. Let me get that working butter. Let's add this in. Let me turn this heat up a little bit. Just a little bit. I got some on camera. Just a little bit. Okay, and let me see. I'm not sure if you can see it. So let me pull y'all closer so y'all can see in this pan. So there is, as I'm adding it, it's actually making it nice and solid right away. Let me turn my heat back down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Do 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 do. Some more milk. Seems like I need some milk handy, but this is like super thick. Safety first, let's not burn our hand. Okay. Add some more. And then this is why I like to not start out with like with it too thin and runny, because then I can hit just the right consistency that I want by adding there some more milk. Because like I said, you can always add it in, but you can't take it out. So that's why sometimes I rather undershoot than overshoot, because you know, overshooting can become an issue real quick. Okay, now we're going to add our sausage. Where's the bowl sauce? So we're going to add our sausage in. Do. Add that sausage to the gravy. This already look good. Like, this is about the man look. Man look. And it's going to look so fancy and stuff, and like just, that's why I love on this show, because it's like all the stuff that I'll be thinking, like when you see the finished product, like, oh, that had to be real difficult to do, or you got to have like some skills to put something in. Not really. Like, it sounds good, but not really. I'm turn my fire off now. So I got my gravy done, and it's looking bomb delicious. Yes, that's the word, because I said it. And then now we're gonna cover this, set it to the side, because this is done, and we're gonna do our pastry. And once we get our pastry in the oven, I'm gonna run y'all through how to get y'all ginger ale started, because it's super easy. Like, that's the thing. Like, it takes a lot of time because you have to let it cool off, because you can't add your yeast to the ginger ale while it's hot, because it will kill the yeast. So we don't want it hot. But other than that, once it cools down and stuff, it's pretty much done. Like, once you mix the stuff in, it's done. So it's almost like taking ginger tea and just adding dry active yeast to it, and some sugar and lemon juice, and boom. Then you let it sit for 2 days out, and then you can refrigerate it after 48 hours, and you have ginger ale. Like, so let's get our puff pastry situation. What do you say? All right. Put some of this stuff off my countertop. This is in the way. Alright. So I can bring y'all over here while we prepare. Okay, so it's usually frozen, but you want it to be thawed out before you do this step. So when I bought it, I just brought it home and put it in the refrigerator as opposed to putting it in the freezer. And so this has 2 sheets. Yeah, so this is 1 sheet right here. And mine is still a little bit on the frozen side, but we gonna work it out. It's okay. Set this square. So if you look at it, the puff pastry square is actually almost the same size as our skillet. So I'm not gonna cut this because the instructions here would have you cut it, because normally you would, like I said, this would be smaller skillet sizes, and so you would cut it to fit the skillet size, and then we're gonna cut a hole out in the middle. That's where we're gonna put our egg. So where we at? So cut the puff pastry sheet down the middle. So I'm not gonna cut it down the middle because, like I said, this is the perfect size for my skillet. Then goes vertically and horizontally, so into 4 squares. That's what I'm saying. I'm not making 4 different squares of things. So and then you'll have 4 even rectangles or squarish shaped things. And using a 2.5-inch circle cutter, cut a circle out of each piece of puff pastry. Place each rectangle plus the cut circle onto the parchment. So, like I said, if you don't have like a circle cutter, because like this, if you don't have something like this to cut circles out of your dough, you can use a small cup or glass or something. I actually have this thingamabobber because I think this would be so cute. I'm gonna use this to cut my egg shape. So here we're just pressing it into the. Okay, and I think that that cut it. That cut it. Do 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 do. Boom. That's gonna be fun. And so this goes on the pan, and then we also gonna put the holes, or cut out holes, but these are hearts. So it ends up looking like a 4-leaf clover from where I cut it from, but my little pieces are hearts. Isn't that cute? Yes, so thank you. Yeah. And I love these little pre-done pastry situations because they're already pre-doughed and all of that. So now we pop this in the oven for 10 minutes. All right, so it's going to be right at the time. And everything is pretty much done now. We're just baking that up, and then we're going to stack that on here and put our egg situation on there. And that's going to finish up cooking for 15 to 20 minutes. So in this 10 minutes, while my pastry is part baking, I'm going to show you all the ginger ale. So I'm going to turn my water back on. My water is actually still pretty warm because it was fully boiling. So frozen ginger is easier to shave, so I keep it frozen. And I had a hand thing somewhere, but whatever. We'll just use this one. So we're going to use the small side. because it increases the surface area of the ginger shavings so that you get more of the ginger into the water. And then we're going to do about an inch worth, so about that much. I'll probably do it from this end. It'll be better. So about that much. And we're just going to shave that into the water. Now, the thing with this is, however much ginger you use is going to determine how strong your ginger ale is going to taste. So the spice of your ginger ale, that little yeah, that. So if you don't want it to be as spicy, use less ginger. If you want it to, like, because who is that? Cutter Dry or somebody? They have like the extra hard ginger ale, where that I guess it's like spicier. Like I tried it before, it's super spicy. And they don't use real ginger in it, because if you look at the ingredients, it doesn't say ginger on it anyway. So whatever it is, cayenne pepper, I think I saw, or paprika or something. That's what they did to make it taste spicy, like there's ginger in it, but there's no real ginger in it. So I was highly disappointed, so I had to stop drinking them. And then I figured out I can always make my own ginger ale and know for a fact that there's ginger in it, because ginger has amazing health properties. It is also an adaptogen, so it helps your body deal with stress. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's an antifungal. So you can actually make like ginger tea or put ginger in your foot soak, and it will help if you have like athlete foot or something like that situation going on. You can actually fix yourself up with some ginger. So that's why I love it. It is absolutely a medicine. And it is food at the same time. Like, boom, it's a win-win. You can't beat it with a stick. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in this measuring cup so I can rinse my ginger off my little grater here. Okay, and then we're going to add sugar. So out of this measuring cup, put some sugar. Classic domino sugar. So 1 cup is all you need. And especially like if you're using white sugar, I will advise to stick to the 1 cup, because it's actually it'll turn out very, very sweet with just this 1 cup of sugar. So that's why before I was using the brown sugar, but it wasn't coming out sweet enough, and so it was tasting, I don't know, a little off. But it still had, like, the right amount of carbonation. And then I tried a combination of brown sugar and white sugar, and that, I think that was probably like turned out the best. And so I think I decided to go with that. But we're out of brown sugar. So now the only thing that you have to do with this, so this is my ginger. You see, don't be alarmed about the ginger in there. I have a strainer. So once it's done boiling, well, it doesn't need to boil. Really, you just have it hot because you need to melt the sugar. So you have to dissolve the sugar in there, and that's really all this step is doing. And so, boom, stir it up. And really, once you don't see any more like sugar crystals and stuff in there, you can turn it off and then let it sit in the pot for about an hour. And then that's going to pull all of this good stuff out of the ginger into the solution. And then you use a strainer. And I usually strain it into a measuring cup because it's easier to pour into that tall bottle. So you see the neck on this bottle. So if you don't have a funnel or something like that, you can use a measuring cup and pour it into, whatever container that you're using. And so then I usually let it sit in the pot for an hour, and then I pour it into the measuring cup and refrigerate it for about an hour or so until it cools all the way down. And then once everything is cooled off, add in some lemon juice, so about a teaspoon. It says about a teaspoon, so that's about the juice of a half of a lemon. But I juiced all of my lemons. These little kombucha bottles be handy as okay. So this is actually lemon juice in here. This is yeah, you see that? So it's a lot of lemon juice in here. So I just pour, I eyeball stuff. So I just pour some in the big bottle. I strain this into the measuring cup. So then it's nothing but ginger, water, and sugar. And then once you get everything together in the bottle, you fill it up because that bottle is 6 cups. So this recipe makes 6 cups of ginger and ginger ale, 6 cups. So then once I fill that bottle up, I add in a teaspoon of, or about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of dry active yeast. So here's my yeast. So, and I bought this too. But you want to make sure you have enough for it to go ahead and ferment. So it was starting to try to boil. So I've turned it off. All my sugar is dissolved, and that's pretty much done. And then you have, I'm trying to show y'all front label so y'all can see what type of yeast. So this is in the baker's aisle. So you go down the bakery aisle where all the cake mixes and stuff is. Oops, I'm making a mess. Getting yeast everywhere. All right. So this brand, Active Dry Yeast. All right. And it's in the baker aisle, and I've only seen them in the 3-pack. Some stores will carry them in the little single pack, but it needs to be dry active yeast. And it doesn't have to be that brand either. Just like I said, whoever got it. And then you seal your bottle up and let it sit on the counter or something somewhere. Do not refrigerate it because that will inactivate the yeast. Okay, they have to operate at room temperature for you to get your carbonation and for it to ferment the ginger. And then boom, you got ginger ale in 2 days. Fresh and all right, so it's been 10 minutes, almost exactly. Like you see, 10 minutes. Oh, it took me. Ooh, look at how that's puffed up. Look at the puffed up tasty puff. I was feeling some type of way when I first put this in the oven. I was like, how this gonna? But it puffed up nicely. This is that. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. So there it is, all cute and puffed up. So now we're gonna assemble our stuff. So this, like I said, this that we made, I cut my recipe because I'm making all of this stuff in this skillet. So you won't have to separate it if you do it how I did it. But if you are gonna separate it into smaller skillets, scoop out what you're gonna scoop out, separate it evenly across the 4 smaller skillets, and then you would take your puff pastry and sit it on top. And then what we're gonna do here is set each one over the skillet and then gently press. So let me get my eggs. Okay. The way this is made, it's probably gonna hold 2 or 3 eggs all at once. Did I put my potatoes back in there yet? Let me double check this. All right. Right. Okay, so let me add my potatoes in there. So this is about to be packed to capacity now. So I'm adding my potatoes and we're going to stir this thing up. And then we're going to add our puff pastry thing on top, crack an egg in the middle, pop it in the oven. And really the oven baked part is to get your whole situation together. Oh, and then look, I'm going to add the extra step here with my spinach artichoke dip. Okay, we're going to layer that across this before we put our egg and pastry stuff on top. So right now I'm just mixing my potatoes into my pot pie filling. Okay. Now we're going to smooth it out, flatten it out, make it nice and flat. Flat like that, like that, like that. And then, where's my spinach artichoke? Dip. Boom. And then we're just going to layer this across there, okay? And artichokes have amazing health benefits as well. Plus, we got some spinach up in here. We got the creamy cream cheese and the Parmesan cheese. So if you don't want to do this step, you can definitely add some cheese. I love me some cheese, like some cheddar cheese or something like that. Yep. Turned out so good, and I don't even remember adding salt to it, and it was like seasoned perfectly with no salt added. So okay, so there we go. So it's a nice layer of spinach. Yep, artichoke dip. I know it's like you already know how that spinach artichoke dip will send you through some things, a couple of things. All right. So we put this. Ooh, that's hot. That was hot. Yep. I'm talking about safety first, and I'm picking up stuff that's hot. Hot. All right. So, and yes, it is hanging over the skillet, but it'll be all right. I guess I could cut it. Here, I'm finna get a knife and cut this to the skillet. It's so flaky. I'm making a big old, here, I'm going to sit this on the parchment paper over here. So I'll make a big old mess. Big old mess. Okay. And then these little pieces that I'm cutting off, we finna just finish baking it all on the pan. And then you can use those to dip into your pot pie. So you know this is gonna be a hit, Mary. You know this is gonna be a cafe favorite right here. People gonna be like how they used to be with McDonald's. Dang, is McDonald's stop serving breakfast yet? That's how they're gonna be about the cafe. Dang, this cafe stop serving breakfast yet? It's only gonna be available during breakfast time, so make sure you get on time. I'm gonna crack 2 eggs right here in the middle of it. So let me show y'all how this looks though. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now this is where your egg crack skill is going to have to come in handy, because you don't want no eggshell ending up in your pot pie. That's going to ruin the whole pot pie experience. So be careful when you crack your egg. Okay, when you bang it, make sure you hit it like you mean it, okay? Hit it like you mean it. And this even looks good with the egg sitting in the middle. And it ain't even done yet. So I'm going to open this up. This is our pot pie with the egg. Okay, we're going to drop that. I know, like what's going on? And we're going to slide there. Slide. Oh, slide. Slide in the oven. And then the little pieces that were cut off of the puff pastry, I'm going to keep an eye on those so that they don't over bake in there. And we're going to take those out, leave the pot pie in for 15 to 20 minutes or until the puff pastry is golden brown. So once the puff pastry is cooked, then, or your egg is cooked to how you like it. I'm cool with the little runny set, especially with the way this is made. So I might have like a little, slightly yolky egg on mine and be perfectly fine with that, because this about to smack. Then when we take it out, we're going to sprinkle our, so let me see. I got a little bit of my cilantro and stuff left, so we're going to sprinkle our cilantro pieces left. I know it looks like a fake, yeah. It wasn't enough space for me to put 4 eggs in there, because I probably could have did like 4 eggs for the symmetry, because it was like 4, like I said, it's like a 4-leaf clover type look to it. But I don't think I would have been able to fit all of that egg on there with the yolk and stuff. Not the yolk, but the egg white. That would have been everywhere, and it would have came out looking a mess. So for the aesthetic, the aesthetics of it, and plus like that skillet is really on like 2-thirds skillet. So once it's done cooking, you cut it down the middle, and then you got 2 servings in that skillet that I have. Like I said, this recipe makes the whole recipe as is. You should get 4 skillet servings, 4 full skillet servings. So this is definitely one of those hearty, hard type meals. And I love this little puff pastry stuff. I'm gonna have to think of some more recipes for this, because I got a whole nother sheet here. So see, I still got another sheet of it. So I can either make this again or find something else to do. I might do like a little beef stew pot pie pastry something. So I love finding new stuff, because I never would have thought to do this. Some of the pot pie. Don't worry, I'm gonna box it up for y'all. I got y'all. But yeah, because it already, like I said, when I was making the filling for it, it was already smelling bomb, and that was just onions and potatoes basically, and some garlic. I put my pastry in the freezer because I want it going bad. I don't want it going bad before I figure out what I'm gonna do to it. All right, and this, I'm sure this is about to be, man, look. And it's just I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all can see a little bit. And it's just in there. I had to put my daughter in her bed, because she would have been all in the oven. Talking about some hot. And clapping her hands like she did. So I'm like, girl, get away from that hot oven. Clapping your hands. and the ginger ale, like the last one that I had made, I drank that ginger ale. It's only been last like 2 days around here, and that, like I said, that's about 6 cups of ginger ale, and I usually mix it with like if we got Kool-Aid, I put some Kool-Aid in there. I mix my tea up in there, and it just flavors it, so it ends up tasting like pop, but it's not pop, okay? So I don't have the high fructose corn syrup and stuff in it that most pop tends to have, and that's usually why it's unhealthy, because high fructose corn syrup is toxic. It causes liver damage, fatty liver disease, all types of mess. So that's why we've been cutting all of that junk out, cutting it out, and having some fresh ginger ale. Like I'm still trying to figure out how we gonna get like a mass production of this ginger ale going, and have our own like cafe ginger ale flavors. Like, yeah, we got Annie's kombucha and we got RockTruth ginger ale, okay? So we don't worry, we're gonna hash that one out. We're gonna figure it out. But it is so good fresh. Like, I'm telling you, I don't care whose ginger ale you had, what store you bought it from, Trader Joe's. They be having, all the natural organic stuff and made from scratch stuff. So you probably, then have some ginger ale. It's not like fake ginger ale. Like, sorry, but the stuff in the can is usually fake ginger ale. Like I said, if you read the ingredients, it says flavored with ginger. It's not actual ginger ale. Like, so it doesn't have, like, the first ingredient is not ginger. I think it's barely even water. It's like water and then high fructose corn syrup and then some other stuff, some preservatives, and then like midway down the list is ginger. or ginger flavoring. So yeah, you got to be careful about how ingredients go. Use the most abundant ingredient in whatever it is the first listed, and then it goes in decreasing order. So if it's at the very bottom of the list, it's probably like a drop worth, like not even 1% of whatever it is you're drinking. And here, let me see if I can show y'all here. So looking at this label on our kombucha. Okay, I had to block the sign out. I'm trying to make focus because it's not really trying to focus. Okay, it's being crappy right now. But it says contains 10% juice. So they be wanting people to know that there's some juice in this, but that's usually how they sweetened it. That's probably what they use instead of like sugar. And so the first ingredient is organic kombucha. And then they break down what kombucha is. It's filtered water, kombucha culture, which is yeast and bacteria culture. So that's the main ingredient. And then there's organic black tea, green tea, and some organic cane sugar and carbonation. So they probably added like carbonated water or something like that. And cold pressed organic apple juice. So that's probably what the 10% juice is apple juice. And apple juice tends to make drinks taste sweeter than they normally would too. So if you're making stuff and it's not coming out as sweet as you want it to, instead of adding more sugar, you can definitely add some apple juice to it, and that'll sweeten it up without adding like a ton of like extra, weird sugar and stuff like that. And it tends to add like a nice little flavor to it too. Especially if you're doing something that is fermented, you can't taste the apple of the juice as much. So yeah, consider that. Let me see how this is. Yeah, I'm stocking it. I'm stocking the pastry, and it's like all flaky and stuff. Make sure it's still on. So the eggs are still cooking as well on top of there, and I'll have to I have some garlic that I have to process because it's been sitting in our little basket for a minute, and if it sits too long, it'll dry out, and then it won't be useful anymore. And I don't want to waste no garlic. We definitely don't want to do that. But I'm going to look up the stuff that I was telling y'all about cilantro so I can make sure I'm giving y'all proper information. And once again, my favorite website, healthline.com. Okay, I love healthline.com because they do their research and they're unbiased with how they present, they sound. So I love doing that. How they gonna tell me coriander and I definitely said cilantro? Let's see how they doing that. I did not have an article for it. Here, let me check this out. Healthline. I've never been to their homepage. I just realized I've never been to their homepage. I just search whatever I'm looking for, and I just look for a healthline.com article. They actually have like a lot of stuff. They got coronavirus updates, nutrition, parenthood, women's wellness. Those are the featured health topics, and they got editor's picks, latest stories, trending, and all that stuff. So that's nifty. Let me see. If I click on nutrition, where can I search for stuff? I'm looking for like a search bar, and it don't look like they have one. And I do get they little emails too. I'm on their mailing list, and they have some nice little nutritional tips and stuff like that. So if y'all are like really serious about your health, I would definitely say sign up for a couple different like nutrition newsletters, because I'm subscribed to a couple of different ones, like one through my my parent company through Herbalife. they send me nutrition stuff, and obviously it's based on the products that we sell. So that keeps us, up, aware of any changes within the company with the products, and then also how we can help people meet their nutritional goals with the product. So, I love that, of course. And then, like I said, I signed up for Healthline, nutritional newsletter, and then I think there's another one from the book that I've been reading, the Hormone Intelligence book. If you are a woman, matter of fact, even if anyone, if you're a man too, because you might have to be able to, support a woman in your life who's having these hormonal issues and things like that. And trust me, having support of people, even if they're not a woman, and they at least attempt to understand what you're going through, goes a very long way, especially in your personal healing process. So get the whole family together and involved in reading it, because I'm probably about halfway through the book now, and it's been so much. It's packed with so much information and a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And I'm a woman. I've had my woman body my whole life, and there's still stuff that I'm learning. And it's been very extremely useful in balancing, my hormonal situation, and just, being aware of the little aches and acts and pains and stuff that you might have, and just understanding it might be cyclic. It's probably, tied to your hormonal cycle, and there's nothing to be alarmed about. Or you can tell when you should be alarmed about things, and it gives you more knowledge, so that when you see your doctor, they can't just tell you anything and send you home. And unfortunately for, my black and brown sisters, we're highly undertreated. We tend to get improperly diagnosed for a lot of things, a lot of serious conditions like endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, and just told oh, that's normal, pain is normal, and and even if we say we're in pain, we're less likely to get pain medication for our pain than white women. And white women tend to be overtreated for things and overdiagnosed for things that they don't really need. And so the healthcare is obviously selling all women in one way or another. So it is absolutely imperative that you educate yourself and you get in the driver's seat for your own physical well-being and health, because you're not going to want to have to rely on doctors to do it for you, because I'm telling you, they are selling us tremendously. What was I doing? My bad. I got on my little soapbox for a minute, but it's it's sad, really, and I'm glad that there's a lot more doctors, especially our black and brown brothers and sisters. They are definitely fighting the good fight for us and trying to close those healthcare gaps and rectify the disparities in treatment and diagnosis for us. And I'm telling you, I'm thankful to y'all. If any of y'all see this, thank you for speaking up for us, for trying to, educate us and other doctors on how to properly treat us, on how to give us the care that we need and deserve. It's a doctor I've been following on Instagram. He's a gynecologist, and I'm telling you, he comes with nothing but factuals, and he keeps it real. He's what he call him, doctor for the streets. But he definitely keeps it for the streets, and he's very passionate about about closing those gaps and getting women the help that they need, and calling other doctors out on their BS, and how they not referring patients for surgery when they know they need surgery just because they can't do the surgery, stuff like that. So I'm telling you, just because they've been your doctor for a long time don't mean that your health is in their best and is on the top of their priority list. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying all people are bad, but I'm definitely saying that for the most part, people are going to do what's best for them first, and you should be doing the same. So yeah, I know you want to stick with your own doctor and all of that stuff, but Sometimes you gotta get a second opinion, branch out, all of that stuff. I'm trying to find it on Healthline, but I don't think they have a whole article about cilantro. They just have the one, oh, cilantro versus coriander. Are they different? Cilantro and coriander come from the same plant species. Okay, yay. Coriandrum sativum. Okay, so I did find the article the first time, but I didn't know that cilantro, coriander are the same thing. Coriander tends to be the seed. I actually have some coriander here. I can show y'all. And coriander does have a very similar type. Oh, it's doing that. I want my eggs to cook a little bit more, but I'm going to take the little puffs out. So let me get my pot in. Because it's hot. It is hot. And I can hear the pot pie stuff bubbling under it. My egg is still very much raw, so I'm gonna put that back in the oven. But like I said, I need to get my puffs off there because they done, and I don't want them to burn. So, ooh, there we go. Ooh, look at the puffs. Yeah, the puffs are ready. They ready. I'm gonna rub some butter on them. Yup, we're doing that. Got today. And then these are unflavored, so if you want, you can do butter, and you can do like cinnamon and brown sugar, garlic salt, or whatever. So you can have them as like a little sweet treat to go with it, or. So now I'm gonna put this in the middle rack. And maybe that'll help the eggs cook a little bit better. Okay, that's probably why that wasn't cooking as well as it needed to, because I had it on the top rack. Maybe that'll get my eggs cooked up. Right, I was getting out of coriander so y'all could see it. So if you haven't seen coriander, this is coriander. See? Coriander. It's little seeds. They smell, I don't know, they smell like dry something. They don't smell like cilantro though. So coriander, I think, is one of those, like, it's like those things that's used in like pickles, like pickling spices. Like they tend to add that to season pickles. Corned beef, definitely put some coriander in that. That's kind of like the idea around that. Getting my little butter whisk to butter my bed. Now this butter that I'm using, this butter is salted. Okay, definitely want to rub the salted butter because it's done. So like I said, I tend to avoid using salted butter while cooking because it will boost the salt content, and then there's no way for you to taste it or see if you didn't overdid it. So I tend to avoid using it in my cooking, but I will definitely top some stuff with salted butter real quick. Because once again, that also helps keep down how much salt I'm adding and using. So like you use a salt shaker, you can still end up adding a little bit too much salt. And like I said, I try to avoid doing that because hypertension is real and it comes on very quickly, and you won't even know it until it's too late sometimes. So I try to just avoid the whole train wreck waiting to happen. Okay. So in North America, cilantro refers to the leaves and the stalk of the plant, and cilantro is the Spanish name for coriander leaves, so that's where we got those names from. That's what I'm saying. Like cilantro, me personally, I've only seen cilantro used in Spanish dishes, like Mexican dishes, that type of stuff. And that makes sense. Makes more sense now. And so the dried seeds of the plant are called coriander, I think, by anybody. And so here we go. They have different nutrient profiles, obviously, because a seed would have more, different kinds of nutrition than a leaf would, because a leaf has chlorophyll in it and is doing different things than seeds are. Seeds, okay. They're different, so they're going to have different nutritional profiles. So cilantro has about 1% fiber, and I believe this is in 10 grams of a serving. So what is that, like probably like a tablespoon worth of cilantro leaves, probably. 13.5% vitamin A. It has a lot of vitamin A in it, 38.8%. This is based on the recommended daily intake, so that's where the percentages come from. 4% vitamin C, 2.1% of manganese, 1% iron. It's got very small amounts of magnesium, calcium, copper, phosphorus, selenium, potassium, and zinc. Now, the seed has higher amounts of all of those things except for vitamin A and K. It has no vitamin A and K, which makes sense because those will only be found in the leaves. Because in order to make those, the chlorophyll has to do with its things, right? So that's why it has none of vitamin A or K in it. But all of the other stuff that I listed, it has higher amounts than the cilantro leaves. So if you're cooking a dish and you're using cilantro, you could definitely consider adding some coriander. So had I known this before, I probably would have dropped some of my coriander seeds up in my pot pie and got a little bit more of the benefits out of it. And fresh cilantro has a ton of water in it too, so it's mostly water. It's like, what does it say? It's 92.2% water. And like I said, they taste and smell completely different. I already told you that. So, and like I said, different uses. So, like I said, cilantro, salsa, guacamole, chutney. Never done chutney, but it's a Indian sauce. A corda, Portuguese bread soup, and in soups in general tend to have cilantro in them. Coriander dishes have like curries, so like chicken curry, stuff like that. Rice dishes, soups and stews, meat rubs. Like I said, that corned beef, that's where I've seen the coriander used with corned beef. Pickled vegetables, like I said, in pickles. Borodinsky bread. It's a sourdough bread, okay. And Dana dal is roasted and crushed coriander seeds, a popular Indian snack. So they literally just crush up the coriander seeds and make, a snack out of it. But I mean, it's super nutritious, so I can see why. Like, coriander seeds have 16.8% fiber in a 10 gram serving. So, okay. So if you've been struggling to get fiber into your diet, coriander seeds, check them out. So, cilantro and coriander could reduce inflammation, reduce the risk factors of heart disease, lower blood sugar levels, and may help fight infections. Okay, so like UTIs, salmonella, it actually kills salmonella. So if you cook a lot of chicken and stuff, or you clean your cutting board and you've been cutting up some chicken, scrub some cilantro across it, and that'll take that salmonella out, and then rinse it down with your bleach water, and boom, you got a salmonella-free surface again. I like that, okay? So I knew cilantro had like bacterial fighting capabilities, but I wasn't sure the extent of that. So that's a lot. So those, and that's one of like the highest like foodborne infections that people tend to get is salmonella. Yeah, so adding a little bit of cilantro can help protect you. And coriander seeds most commonly fight the bacteria that most commonly causes UTI. So if you've been having a lot of UTIs, like especially like I know a lot of older people who have incontinence issues tend to get a lot of UTIs. Try adding some coriander to your diet, and that might help protect you from that. Oh, they even tell you how to pick it. So when you shop for cilantro, it's best to choose leaves that are green and aromatic. Avoid purchasing leaves that are yellow or wilted because they're not as flavorful. I don't pick those either because they look ugly. So get the ugly bush of cilantro basically. And then you just cut the stems off and you can store it in the fridge in a jar, and it says with a little bit of water, because like I said, cilantro is mostly water, so you want to keep it hydrated, and that'll help it stay fresh longer. And that's for like immediate use. But if you want to last longer, you can dry it out. You can dehydrate it. You have like an air fryer or something like that, and it has like a dehydration setting on there, or you know, usually like a low heat over a long period of time will dry it out without cooking it or burning it or ruining the nutrients in it. So you want to do a low heat over a long period of time, and then still let it sit out in the oven overnight to finish up drying out, and then you got your own fresh dried cilantro. Let's see how the egg is doing now. Okay, the egg is finally getting solid, and that's gonna be it right there. So I have okay. That's the little puff pastry corner that I cut off the I love that puff pastry though. Don't be surprised if y'all check my social media and it's like puff pastry everything all over it. Because that's really good. But that is all I have for y'all today. I'll post a pic of my finished pot pie and probably a little clip of me trying it out. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. I get a little camera shot when I eat. But this was a super fun recipe. If you make your ginger ale, you can, like I said, flavor it with different types of juice. And like I said, if you use fruit juice, I would suggest cutting the sugar back because it'll make it too sweet. And you don't want to do that because that's all about, not spiking your blood sugar for no reason. So, and you can also use like fresh fruit purees or in paste to flavor it as well. And if you try some different combinations, you can add teas and things to it. If you try different combinations, please tag me to it. Let us know how it tasted, why you did it, what benefits you're looking to get out of it, and definitely share that with the community because we're all here learning from each other. And as always, in the kingdom, we rock truth or nothing at all. See y'all next week.